All right, friends, so let's get this thing going. So I'm going to draw a little not to scale representation of this map up on the board. So I have a hardball road. It cuts down this, and then there's a trail. Cuts off this way. And I got a road that cuts off this way, right? And then so in here, I have an open area. Here, and I have another open area here. So I got an open area here. I got a lake up here. And then I got a couple other trails here, north, here, and we are right here, right? So what I want to do is I need to know where I'm at, and then I need to know where we're gonna go. And so here we are, our little patrol base, and we want to set off and go to this area right here. We'll call it Point Alpha, right? Now, the way we would normally do this, like if we were doing land navigation, is we would plot where we are, we're going to plot where we're going to go, and we're going to move off into a straight line. Right, but that's not what we want to do, because depending on how contested or permissive the environment is that we're operating in, we need to keep in mind a few variables, and of course these variables are MET, TC. So the first one is our mission. What's the purpose? Why are we planning to go from where we're at to where we're going? Whether we're moving from a hide site, a cache site, we're moving to a cache site, it's a bug out location, maybe we're just doing a security patrol, maybe it's a presence patrol, whatever that reason is, we need to understand the purpose for why it is that we're getting ready to stake out. And we need to understand what the enemy situation is. What are their procedures? What are their capabilities? What's their strength? What risk does it pose depending on the time of day that I travel? I need to take all of this into consideration as I start to begin to think about who I have working with me. Is it just myself? Am I alone? Is it me and Riggs? Do I have another larger party that we're working in? A lot of variables here to take into consideration. What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? What are our limitations? What are our time constraints? Do I have all the time in the world? Do I have no time? Moving on to civilian considerations. From here, I need to think about what is the populace of the area that I'm going to be working through. Should I reasonably expect to come across anybody? If so, do they have any resources that they might be able to offer? Again, a lot of variables out here, but all this is going to take into consideration, and more if we dig into MET-TC, the route that I take and the time of day I need to plan on moving. Regardless, I need to consider a primary route and an alternate route. I need to have a primary route to get to where I'm going. I need to have a primary route to coming back. I need to have an alternate route to get to where I'm going. I need to have an alternate route to get back to where I'm coming from. Again, I don't want to move in a straight line because I don't want anybody able to work directly back to where I came from or to be able to understand and guess where I'm going. Again, maybe this is a cache site. And I need to move out and get some more supplies. Maybe it was a drop zone and somebody was leaving some supplies there for me. So as I'm thinking about my primary route, I want to work in shorter increments to get there. But notice it's a dog leg, so I'm moving out and then back into my destination. And to coming back, again, I don't want to move in the exact same route because that would be predictable. So I want to come and I want to work in an opposite direction. As such. Now, from my alternate route, I'm going to work so I'll actually move past my point and then come back to it. And then to come back, we can do something similar. Now I have a primary and alternate route to get there and a primary and alternate route to come back. I need to know and understand, especially if I've been in or working through the area before, what are some limitations in here? Is there water? Are there food? Are there game trails? How familiar am I with this area? Are there any other linear danger areas that may not be on the map? Maybe it's a freshly cut logging trail that's been put in. Do I have any issues or considerations thinking about vagrants or homelessness? Is there anybody else moving in or through this area? Because as I'm working through it, I'm using sills at every stop point. Each one of these places, by the way, is a place to stop. So I have a checkpoint here, and then I move to my location. Coming back, I have a checkpoint Alpha, Bravo, and then move my way back. Moving in my alternate route, I have a pause here, and then my objective rally point here. Coming back, boom, boom, boom. All right, does that make sense? So as I'm getting ready to do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plot this on my map, and then I'm going to determine for my primary route from my patrol base to my first checkpoint, what is my distance and what is my direction? Right? Again, because I didn't want to move in a straight line, I'm actually moving further than I would have moving in a straight line, but that's what we need to do. And then from my checkpoint, what is my distance and my direction to get to my objective? Same working back. I want to come back from my objective. What is my distance and my direction? So I'm going to have that times 2 and then 3, right? Distance, direction, distance, direction. That's to get me to my objective. This is to get me back to my objective. Same thing for my alternate route. I have 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be patrol base to 1, patrol base to 2. My fault, you're bad. 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to objective, and then to 4 and 5, 4, 5, and then back home. Does that make sense? Once I have all that, I have it plotted, I get it all written down, and now I'm ready to step out using whatever control measures I have to move outside of my little patrol base and then to work my way back in. Along the way, should I encounter anything that makes me suspect that I'm being followed or trailed, I can always move to a separate checkpoint, and I can use whatever comms or signal means that I had put in place to be able to radio that back. In addition, if I get to my objective, and let's say I'm traveling on my primary route and I'm reaching my objective, we'll zoom in here, right? Same thing again, once I come up, I just zoomed in here. Instead of working straight to it, once I get to within 100 to 300 meters, and again, this is going to be based on METTC, right? I can stop. So it's 300 meters, 200 meters, 100 meters, and I start working my way in the spiral fashion. It's the most secure way to move into your objective. It takes a lot longer, but guaranteed that you're going to be G to G. Because along the way, you're also recognizing areas of egress, as well as just, again, making sure that your area is secure. The other alternate means of doing this would be, I'm moving in. We'll say this time I'm on my alternate route, so I'm coming in this direction. I can deliberately offset, even from here, I can deliberately offset by 100 or so meters and then work my way back in. Friends, this takes your basic land navigation skills, and it bumps it up. This is the reason, this is the purpose for getting out and conducting land navigation, so that when you have to plan a route, you can do so with confidence. You understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. Land navigation is the single discriminator for every assessment and selection throughout the military, whether we're talking about just an ESB, an EIB, an EFMB, any NCOES, Ranger School, people going to Special Forces Assessment Selection. Yet this is the one thing that we have to be able to get right. You have to be able to move out through the wilderness, right? And so what we'll do is we'll get our pack on. We're gonna move out 100 meters. I'm gonna give you a few tips and tricks that I can put in your kit bag the next time you move out when it comes to having some confidence, working with our compass as well as our pace count when we're negotiating obstacles and we're trying to work our way back. All right, so we're gonna move out at 120 degrees. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna preset my compass. This is hands down one of the biggest things that I see folks not doing when they're conducting land navigation is they don't preset their compass. In order to do that, all you do is you rotate your body until you have your bearing underneath your index line, and then you rotate that bezel ring until the tritium marker of the bezel ring and the tritium marker of your north-seeking arrow is in line. But as you're moving along, what you want to do is you want to keep those tritium markers lined up. This is especially useful at night when you're moving under limited visibility. Because as you're moving along, right, and you go to check your compass, if you drifted off to the right, then your tritium markers aren't going to line up. Your bezel ring is going to be off to the left. So you just reorient your body until your tritium markers line up. It's a quick reference, right? And then you're good to go. Same thing if you drifted off to the left, your bezel ring is going to be off to the right. So you just rotate your body back, and again, you G to G. So 120 meters, or 120 degrees, my fault, your bad, right? And that's magnetic. We're going to move out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. All right, so at 37 paces, which is going to be close to 50 meters without doing my math, I have a little bit of an issue here. And so this issue is this large Doug fir, right? and this brush. Again, I'm only trying to move out 100 meters. And I know that my line of travel is that way. I can keep moving, and that's going to impact my pace count. But I see this trail here that some engineers had put in, you know, when they're doing some logging. So instead of blazing through, which I could do, depending on your area, you may not be able to do that because you might be concerned about snakes. I'm actually going to weave around, and I'm going to have to guesstimate, right? I'm going to have to guesstimate how far I'm moving around. So I'm at 50 meters now-ish, and so we're going to work our way around. 40, 41, 2, 3, 4, 45, 46, 47. Right, and so again, now that I'm back on this side, I can see it kind of clears off to the left a little bit. So I'm just going to guesstimate, and we're at about 58, 59 paces right now. So I only have another 15, 20 paces to go before I'm at 100 meters. So I'm just going to work my way around and then guesstimate where I'm at. Okay, so let's go and do that. Right, so now that I'm here, brush, and I have this large Doug fir out in front of me, all I have to do, because that's basically turned into my steering mark, is make sure I'm in line with that, rotate, and then pick up 120 degrees, or just align the treading markers on my bezel ring with the treading marker to my north-seeking arrow. Once they're G to G, which they are, all I have to do is move out. And all I gotta do is move out another 15 paces, we're gonna call it, right? 15 paces, and we're gonna be at 100 meters, exactamundo. 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. Now that I'm here, I want to take a close look at what I have around me. Right? I want to stop, I want to look, I want to listen, I want to smell, I want to take ample notes. Is there any sign of animal movement? Is there any sign of people moving through this area? What kind of trees are around me? Any fruit-bearing trees? Are there any berries? Do I have hardwood, or is it all softwood? What does the terrain tell me? I can see in the terrain here that it begins to dip down. And where there's low ground, I may be able to find some water that may not have been on my map. Is there any spots where it looks like bear have been bedding down, or boars? I got a big pile, a big mound of Thatcher ants right here. It's a good source of protein if I needed it. A lot to consider in here. Again, so we make our copious notes. And now if I needed to work off to another checkpoint, I could do that. Or I could work back to where I started from. And again, to be able to do that, it's quick, easy in and out. Since I moved out at 120 paces, I need to add 180 degrees to get my back azimuth, or my reverse azimuth, okay? So 120 plus 180 is 300 degrees. So I take my compass out, and I realign my body until I have 300 degrees. And once I'm good to go, I rotate my bezel ring again. And although, you know, I'm going to use my index line during the daytime, it's just always good habit to do the same thing during the day that you would at night. So that's why I always preset my compass, no matter what. I should be able to see the large Doug fir, which I can. It's on my line of travel. I know that I'm going to have to bend around to the left and then hook it back over on that trail, and we should be good to go. So let's head on back to camp, and we'll look at this hammock and have some PBR. All right, man, let's look at this hammock real quick, and then we'll enjoy a cold PBR. You know, they don't give blue ribbons to just everybody. So this particular hammock comes from Lightfighter. It's the Recondo Jungle Hammock. Recondo, of course, has its name going back to school back in the late 50s, which is an acronym for Reconnaissance and Commando, you know, kind of put them together because we like acronyms. So I think this product is outstanding, but more than just the product, I think that the company behind the product is amazing. So 100% owned and operated in the United States. You can look at like almost everybody who works for them are veterans as well. So they're huge contract. They're not a contractor. So they're a huge provider of tents to the war fighters. So you need to be able to be adaptive to be able to overcome some different things. And with the system that they have in place, you can do that. Obviously I did because I just used 550 cord. You know, if you made it this far, you G to G in my book. Let me know down below if you did. I kind of set off a firestorm on TikTok. Wasn't expecting it. Share this video of this guy in scrubs yelling at this young soldier, a little private. He kind of asked me for a response, so I gave a response, and what I said was, you know, basically that I didn't care what the backstory was, right? We start talking to folks the way this dude was talking to this kid in this type of environment, right? So I've been in the military for a long time, and I raise my voice at dudes on the daily. It comes with my job. You know, and in a training environment, I'm all for tough and realistic training. And so this is obviously not that type of environment where yelling at somebody's really that appropriate. But even if, you know, some corrective action was needed, is there another way? Is there a better way than yelling at somebody using some pretty foul and corrosive language, demanding that you be respected? And even if, you know, this kid had did something wrong, like, there's lots of ways to handle things. But ultimately, I think even in the responses that I got to the video were crazy. But I think it represents the three types of people that we have in our lives. The first one are those that we only allow in our lives, the ones who speak praise for and over us, right? Our friends, you know, we hang out with them, we party with them, we like them because they like us. And most of these people, though, don't ever fit into the second group. And that's the group that can speak into our lives, right? The ones who can sharpen us, the ones who can hone us. Might be a little abrasive sometimes. There's a little course correction, right? Having some purpose, direction, motivation. But, you know, we need that sometimes. And when we don't have it, it sets us up for failure. Because when we do come across it, we take it as something that's personal, right? We take it as an attack. Which means that when we do face that corrosiveness in our lives, and in the folks who are defending the dude who was screaming at the private, like, well, obviously the private did something wrong, right? Obviously the private did something wrong. So if the private was corrosive to this dude in some sort of way, if he felt disrespected, this fellow reacted out of emotion. It was an emotional response. And he lost his self-control. Does that make sense? So he gave this young private, he submitted power to him. Does that make sense? Like, we have to be better than that. I think we can be better. I had, a lot of responses. Some fit into all three spectrums. And what I'd say is, regardless, you need to not push back on them, per se, because they're all going to be in our lives in one form or another. So what I think we need to do is be prepared for all three. Welcome the first two specifically, especially that middle group. The folks who can speak into your life and refine you. And that's why, one of the reasons why I appreciate you making it this far and all the comments that I received down below, because it helps me master my own craft. Something I think we could do more often. So hey man, if you enjoyed the content of the video, make sure you like it, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so you can stay up to date on future content. Appreciate all you guys, man. Till then, you stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked.